I definitely think one of the issues that this deck could have is like not enough closing power in games, and like making this a threat that actually attacks and blocks could help change that. Have you seen the most played land and creature since the bannings? I've not. Punishing Waterfalls. That data posted somewhere. Welcome to a live one, Richie. I'm glad you're enjoying the YouTube stuff. Yeah, we're gonna do plans to do 4 legacy decks today, I think. We're gonna do Temur Bedlam, Bantblade, Punishing Thieves, and Sneak and Show. Yeah, so basically this is a blue-red control deck, and I've just got a couple of Krosan Grips in the board off of this tropical island and these Grove of the Burnwillows because it's pretty free. We need to play Grove to enable Punishing Fire anyways, and like at that point, like I already have 3 basic islands, so like making my 4th basic island a trop instead so I can play some K-Grips to answer things like Rest in Peace is like very reasonable. Also take things like Counterbalance off the table. So like we have green mana anyways from Go Over the Burnwillows. The only cost associated with playing this Krosan Grip is playing 1 tropical island over my 4th basic island, and I think that's fine. In the past, that felt fine. Solid Barton, welcome. Thank you for the brand new Twitch Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month. The question on everybody's mind is, how's Legacy after the bannings? And the answer is still, this card, and this card are busted. You should probably be playing them. Like, prior to the bannings, Deathrite Shaman was also included with these cards, so... Would you change the mana if you added trackers? Yeah, you'd probably want a second green fetchable land if you were playing trackers. Scorch, thanks for the 5-month resubscription. Welcome back. I do appreciate it. No, MTGO doesn't, like, make up a number and lie to me. I really hate when games do that. Like, they're like, you'll get a match in X amount of time, and it's just, like, making up a random number to throw at me, and it's just like, well, why don't you just, like, put me in a queue and show me a counter instead? This actually seems pretty good, right? I guess I really want the second land, right? Well, so part of the problem is, like, where is that data coming from, Punishing Waterfalls? Like, we haven't had any actual events, so, like, we just have, what, like, Legacy Challenge events? Because you can't, if you use data, if you use the Magic Online League data, your data is automatically useless in terms of comparing the most played cards. Because, like, Magic Online League data is intentionally artificially diverse. You'd probably play more copies of Abrade or things that could destroy artifacts. Maybe Engineered Explosives. I feel like you want a way to take Rest in Peace off the table, so maybe Engineered Explosives. I think the Trop is worth playing, though, if you have access to it. So, like, I think I'm obligated to keep these just because... 1, hitting 4 lands is, like, not the worst thing in the world. And 2, if my opponent, like, turn 1 is, like, Wasteland me, I'm gonna be really sad if I shuffle and don't hit a blue source. Alright, we're gonna need to play quickly, ladies and gentlemen, because we're in for the grind here, okay? We're gonna be in for a grind. Thankfully, this deck grinds pretty well. I just took a long time on that Ponder, though, so there's a good chance that this is going to be the type of game where I am not going to be able to have a ton of commentary, because I'm going to need to be playing quickly. Twerk you later. Thank you very much for the 500 bits. I appreciate that. And that's one of the things you really need to do as a... Well, no, I'm going to be really sad if we lose this Grove. Sweet, we lost the P-Fire and not the Grove. That's great. I'm going to go ahead and crack this fetch land here and grab another Volk out of my deck. I really don't want to... I know there's a Vendilion Clique on top of my deck, so I really don't want to draw that. think I'm just going to go ahead and pass back here. Probably play Vendilion Clique here. You looking for this one, Lito? I wonder if they're playing Shardless Bug. Yeah, they're playing Shardless Bug. Okay. That's a little brutal. I guess I just picked this other Punishing Fire back up, huh? So Jace the Mind Sculptor. No, I'm only planning to play Legacy today. If these leagues go... If these leagues go quickly, I might squeeze in a Modern League at the end, but I'm planning to do 4 Legacy leagues. Yep. It's decent, Bob. It's not bad. It's not the worst. Not the worst. Hounds for us. Thank you for that brand new Twitch Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. Would love to cast a Preordain. We're looking for some more lands here. We would love to get... I think I can top here. Definitely want the Trop this turn. When do you get the 3-month sub badge? You have at 3 months, Nathan? I'm confused. I'm confused by your question. When do you get the 3-month sub badge? At 3 months? Kinda Punishing Waterfalls. Like, outside of my Bedlam Reveler, I don't really have like 3-for-1s of my own, so I think Counterspell's a fine card to take here. I guess the real question here is, do you genuinely believe that like Counterspell is like better than a random card? Or like worse than a random card off the top of my deck? Ready for Blade. Thank you for the bits, Lito. I appreciate it. Oh, when do I personally get the 3-year badge? Did you say 3 years? You said 3 months earlier. I have no idea, Nathan. You don't get alerted when it runs out, and it does not re-up automatically, so you have to keep track of that yourself, unfortunately. So how many do we have in here? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess the Counterspell on top of my deck sucks. Yeah, I guess it's worse than a random. I'd have rather had a land here. Yeah, I think I'm just discarding the Counterspell at this point. I think I'm bolting this. And then I'm going to go ahead and just plan to play the Bedlam Reveler next turn. One, two, three, four, five. So this cost me 3 at this point. Hey, Galv Blast for game. Thank you very much for the support. I appreciate it. Welcome. I'm not actually sure if these counterspells in the main deck are good or not. It's very possible that I just like don't want that card in my 75 because of it's kind of awkward with Bedlam Reveler. Sometimes you can control it with like Brainstorms and Force of Wills, like send it back to the top of your deck and stuff, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of times where it just like doesn't accomplish a whole lot. He's dead, Jim. Spell Piercer, Spellstar. I mean, those cards are kind of shitty for, like, the same reason. Those cards are kind of shitty for the same reason that, Hey, Gubdaya, thank you for the 3-month free subscription. Welcome back. I mean, those cards are kind of bad in my mind for the same reason that, that what's it called is bad, right? Same reason that Counterspell's bad, feels like to me. This card currently costs me 4. Maybe I should have left these in the bin. I don't know. I kind of want to kill their stuff this turn. Why does it seem like a tough matchup? Like, can you explain yourself? I mean, I really feel like we have a ton of card advantage to keep up with their card advantage. Like, they resolved an Ancestral Vision and 2 Hymn to Torox here, and we're, like, keeping card parity with them, and, like, I have this Bedlam Reveler in my hand, so, like, what about this seems hard? Yeah. I feel like we are, like, firmly in the driver's seat at the moment. Yeah, like the Liliana, we don't really care about that either. So I'm not going to bring the fire back because I want to just cast Bedlam Reveler this turn. I think I'm actually going to pay red off of one of these for now. I don't really care about them. I'm going to hold off on these for a moment here. Like, if they don't have a force here, they're in a lot of trouble. Yeah, it's like another True-Name here. Do I play around a Toxic Deluge? I kind of feel like I'm supposed to play around a Toxic Deluge here. If I play the other True-Name, I can start racing them, though. If they had Deluge, they would have Deluged last turn, right? I think if they had Deluge, they would have cast it already. I need to kill them, right? So definitely do not have Deluge. And this and Hymn to Torok. This is another reason to just like play out my True-Name Nemesis there. So I think it's pretty right to play it out there. I think there's things that punish us in either direction, and I think the way their play pattern has indicated so far that like they don't have the other thing. All right, I would like to attack you with this Bedlam Reveler now. Say hello to my friend Prowess. I don't think I would put Tracker in this deck. Like, it blows my mind how, like, Magic players are so obsessed with, like, putting infinite value into every deck that they play, and they, like, really just, like, so many Magic players have just, like, no respect for, like, the aggressive decks that exist in formats. Like, stop it. This deck already draws a ton of cards. Stop trying to put more cards in this deck that draw more cards. We have Dacks, we have Jaces, we have Bedlam Revelers, we have Snapcaster Mage, we have Punishing Fires. Like, we already have absurd amounts of card advantage in this deck. Don't put more cards in it to generate more card advantage. Put cards in it that help you not die to combo decks. And Hoagland is saying you have two. Yes, as someone, I like to think I have like a moderate amount of value in things. All right, so what else am I supposed to do here now? I feel like Counterspell is pretty bad in this matchup. I think Force of Will is actually okay. I feel like I'm gonna like want to stop key cards that they have a couple of times. You think I want Thing in the Ice against their Shardless Agent Baleful Strix decks? That seems really bad to me. I think I'll take this Dead Gone. Maybe I want that. I don't even know if I want that. I really feel like people undervalue Force of Will in these fair matchups. I said if you wanted to add Tracker, I would cut Dack Fayden, but I don't think I want Tracker. Those are the exact words that I said. Dead Gone is a 5th 1-mana removal spell against decks like Death and Taxes that also kills Merit Liege with the Gone side. Dead Gone might actually be fine here. Just like killing Baleful Strix is important. And like gawning a Tarmogoyf on occasion is probably fine. I think I like keeping the Force of Wills against the Ancestral Vision Hymn to Torak deck. Like, Force of Will basically lets me pick which cards they hymn out of my hand a lot of the time, and it's like, is a 2 for 3 basically on their Ancestral Vision. Like, I don't really want any of these cards out of my sideboard. You think, well, Fluster, like, almost never counters Ancestral Vision, and, like, it can counter, like, exactly Hymn to Torak. This card seems absurdly narrow. It is not my birthday. Not even close. I'm gonna bring in this Pithing Needle rather than this Dead Gone. I think the Dead Gone's pretty bad. Someone not familiar with Legacy, can you explain? Because Legacy is not a format about playing to the board. Legacy is a format that's largely fought on the stack, whereas Modern is a format that's about getting and creating a board presence. So it's much easier to keep a Jace alive in Legacy compared to Modern. You also have Force of Will to protect Jace, so when you tap out for him, you get to protect him. Is basically what it comes down to. I think the Needle's fine. Like, they definitely have, like, Liliana the Veil in their deck, right? There's a non-zero chance they, like, trim, they trim on, what's it called, too? They trim on copies of Abrupt Decay. I'm definitely gonna bottom this Bolt. I feel like I could take Dack Fayden. There's a deck list on your screen. If you're on mobile, you can type !deck to get a link to the deck list in chat. I think I'll take Dack here. I have Brainstorm as another cantrip to, like, dig for a land next turn. I also have a lot more cantrips in my deck to possibly work towards. If they hymn me, I'm gonna force pitch Snapcaster Mage. Sweet. Punishing Fire is a great draw. Because it combos with my deck and once we find a grove. I'm going to throw back the Pithing Needle for now. I don't think I want both fires here. I definitely want the third land. I think I'm going to go Needle, P-Fire back. I guess Abrade's pretty medium. Like, Abrade doesn't really do anything that P-Fire doesn't do. So I guess I'll throw back Abrade Needle, actually. And I'll play this fetch land and crack it. Grab a Volcanic Island here and cast Ponder. I don't really want any of these cards. I'm like looking for cantrips and like Grove of the Burnwillows to go with my Punishing Fire deck. If you go back to the Worlds tournament where Punishing Fire and Splinter Twin were both legal, you can get a glimpse into like what Punishing Fire in this format is. Hint, it's miserable. Like really fucking miserable. That's true, Terminator. That's a good thing to point out. They are functionally different in that way. That's very annoying. Stay on topic, Burnt. This is not Magic Google. There's plenty of places you can go ask rules questions online. Yeah, I really don't have good lines here at this point. I think I just pass. I feel like we're pretty dead here. This Ancestral Vision is going to come down. We don't really have a good clean answer to this Tarmogoyf. I'm probably playing this click and clicking a Punishing Fire out of my hand. I'm trying later start time Zaka on Tuesday through Thursday to see how they impact my viewer numbers overall. Whelp. If we weren't dead before, we are certainly dead now. True-Name's kind of a messed up card, though, that might be able to pull us back in here. It's a good draw. Means we get to counter this one, potentially. Can Dack steal the agent? I guess that's not terrible. I actually don't hate that. I forgot this was an artifact. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, Legacy was never particularly fast. Legacy's always been kind of a slow, grindy format. And for the record, like, the Ancestral Visions aren't the thing that's, like, tying us up here. The real issue is that, like, Nihil Spellbomb makes our Punishing Fires worse. So, like, not only our engine is better than their engine, but our engine is currently being turned off. Like, that's the real issue. Hey, Larenex, thanks for the 29-month resubscription. I do appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Good news here is they can't hardcast Force of Will. So if they want to stop my Pyroblast here, they're going to have to pitch 2 cards. So we still get a 2-for-1 out of this, even if they stop it. They're going to Mind Sculptor, pick their Shardless Agent back up, and we're just going to be infinitely behind. This Punishing Fire does get to finish off Jace, which is nice. I guess Clique gets to finish it too, actually. Yeah, we just don't really have a lot going on here. There should probably be a 3rd True-Name in this deck. Honestly, there's a non-zero chance there should just be a full 4 True-Names in this deck. That card's really messed up. There's 4 True-Names in the next deck we're playing today. I really feel like the more I think about it, the more I just like every one of these mid-range decks should just have 4 True-Names in it. The number of times that people ask, is X a thing, when they, like, see one match being played with it, really don't understand how to evaluate the, like, how these formats change. Like, we don't know what's good right now, and, like, my one random opponent that I'm currently playing against in this match playing a thing, like, that doesn't mean it's popular or powerful. Like, we don't have data to show that these things are popular and reasonable and consistent. Yeah, it's still a clock. Like, True-Name, again, True-Name is very, very good. I'm like, oh, that made the Goyf bigger. It doesn't matter. We're very dead here. The matches where True-Name isn't good, you can board it out. You can board it out. The matches where True-Name is good, it's absurd. It's very, very good. Maybe I want Thing in the Ice just for the purposes of killing them. That's probably true. Trim this Abrade and this Pithing Needle. Honestly, I think one of the biggest drawbacks about, like, trying to play Shardless anything is that, like, you have too many 3s, so you can't play True-Name. So, like, you're not playing True-Name, Leovold, and Shardless Agent without having too many 3s. And, like, Leovold and True-Name are already pretty messed up cards. I don't think swords are good in my deck with, what, 8 creatures, 6 creatures, 8 creatures? Probably not. I opted not to ponder on one because I wanted to save my cantrip for my thing in the ice. End step Brainstorm, or in response, are they thinking about wanting to force this potentially? Hopefully we lose one of these Jaces. Lost my land and my ponder and kept both my Jaces. People always tell me this format's super low variance. Should we believe them? It's like such a kick too, because like not only did we lose our land, but we lost the cantrip too. So we just like we had 5 cards in our hand, and we're like, well, we'll be okay if we get to keep one of these two, and like they just took both the cards that mattered. And again, just like the thing that gets me every time I play decks like this, and it doesn't matter if they're decks like this in Modern or decks like this in Legacy, there's always just like a slew of people in chat that are always like, how do we jam more clunky, absurdly awkward cards into this deck? There's never people that are like, let's be moderate and like think about problems that we could fix. They're always like, let's add tireless trackers, let's add swords, let's add other cards that cost infinite mana and have a hard time impacting the board and like draw cards. Like, I get that there's a lot of grindy games in Legacy, but like there's also a lot of like really brutal fast games where you die very quickly. And like this deck already has close to the upper ceiling on like grindy cards you can afford to play. This card too, just like this card adds so much variance to Legacy. Very, very frustrating Magic card to play against. Just like takes a bunch of games and just says, hey, you don't get to play Magic anymore. There are multiple red spells in my deck. There's a deck list on your screen. If you're on mobile, you can type !deck in chat to get a link to the deck list. Yeah, I definitely think this deck probably is lacking closing power. That was hopefully the feedback last time. The counterspells are a little bit awkward with Bedlam Reveler, so maybe those should just be like True-Name 3 and 4. Just like play 4 True Names in the Legacy decks, because, you know, just like play all the messed up cards basically. It's a good solid way to approach deck building. Just like take a bunch of cards that are just like absurdly powerful and then put them all together. That way your raw card quality is very high. Why do I want a bunch of Flusterstorms? Just because you're afraid of the Storm matchup? No, I don't really play Standard at all. It's really difficult to keep up with Standard. There's just too many changes. And then, like, there's the random, like, standard formats being rancid that aren't enjoyable to play. Kinda. I mean, you can make the argument that Bedlam Reveler alongside Jace is a combo, because you can take cards that you want to keep out of your hand and put them on top of your deck. Looking for more lands here. Basic Island. Basic Island either means Dack is absurd or useless. I think I'm going to take him. And then I can use this fetch land to shuffle away that Bedlam until we want it later. I think Thought Scour is just not needed. Like, again, people are just, like, suggesting a bunch of changes to the deck list after, like, watching one game, and it's a game where, like, we had a land Hymn to Torakt out of our hand, and then we got Wastelanded while never drawing one of our 12 cantrips or anything else that's going on, so, like, you know, sample sizes are relevant and matter. I think I'm going to keep the Clique for now, because there's a non-zero chance our opponent is playing Sneak and Show. This could theoretically be Storm, too. This feels like a combo Brainstorm, like they're looking to untap and show and tell. I'm not saying all the suggestions are bad. I definitely think, like, adding more threats to the deck is fine, and, like, Young Pyromancer seems like an okay suggestion. And more true names seem like okay suggestions. They're much, to set the bar low, they're much better than the let's play Tireless Tracker and let's play other things that are like slow and clunky suggestions. I think I'm just going to go ahead and pass the turn here so I can Vendilion Clique them in response to like a show and tell or something like that. So many end-step Brainstorms. That's a normal frame, right? There's full art Abrades in real life, too. Definitely show and tell. I pretty much only own bulk and paper. Show me 2 threats. Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be a fast league. We got a lot of cards for combo decks, chat. We got a lot of cards for combo decks. We got a lot of cards that aren't good in our main deck here. Gosh! Would you look at that? It's almost like when I built this deck, I knew how I wanted the sideboard. Look at that, just like easy 12 in, 12 out. No, Gaun's not good enough. It can't target him or cool. Yeah, it's also possible we were, like, talking about more threats. It's very possible that just, like, Thing in the Ice should be in the main deck of this deck. There's also, and this is something that I feel like enough people don't think about enough, is that I feel like I might just want, like, 4 True Names as the only creatures in the main deck of this deck, and then, like, board into things like TT and Young Pyromancer, because there's something to be said about blanking all of your opponent's removal spells game 1, like, just making it so, like, their Lightning Bolts and their Fatal Push and their Abrupt Decays just, like, don't really have text boxes against your threats. So I almost feel like if I wanted to add more threats, I'd almost wouldn't want to put, like, most threats in the main deck. I'd want to put them in the board. I don't know. Like, Collected Company? Yeah, I agree, Bob. I think it seems great. Just, like, Max. And, like, True Name's such a good card, right? Because, like, in a deck like this, it's funny, we were kind of talking about this yesterday, too, in Modern. Like, people were confused why I had Tarmogoyf in my control deck in Modern. And True Name really kind of serves the same purpose in this style of deck that what's it called serves in Modern. It serves the same kind of purpose that Tarmogoyf serves in Modern, where it's a threat when you need to be aggressive, and it is a brick wall against decks where you need to play defense and take a more controlling role. What do the new sub symbols mean for sub length? So the sub symbols tell a story of people building up Hoglandia. So we have boots and we have shovels for the hardworking people that are just coming in and starting to build the kingdom. And then we have a wooden training sword for when you hit 6 months. And then when you hit 12 months, I usually give people a mod sword at 12 months. So you get a shield along with your mod sword at 12 months. I think I want to just stick the True Name here so I can start attacking them. If they cast Show and Tell, I can put in Phyrexian Revoker, which, like, might have an impact. For the record, I think this matchup is probably absurdly bad for us. We don't have a very efficient clock, and we don't have a ton of disruption. This deck that we're playing is definitely much better positioned against, like, control and fair decks on average, but we just lost the Shardless bug, so, like, perhaps this deck is just terrible and we shouldn't play it. There's a very real chance that that's the case. No, there's a chance I could want to, like, blast, Pyroblast, snap Pyroblast, and, like, I think there's a pretty low probability that my opponent boarded in Blood Moon against the deck that we're playing Mage. That's adorable. Yeah, actually, Snowski, I actually imported into my deck list and poked at the mana and added, or Magic Online is a giant steaming pile of garbage and didn't save any of the changes that I made to this deck. But that's okay, because I posted a screenshot. It's okay. I posted a screenshot in Discord of changes I made. Oh, Magic Online. I feel like Magic Online, like, flips a coin every time I close it on whether or not it's going to save the changes I've made to deck lists. I've actually pretty much gotten in the habit of exporting all the edits I make in their deck editor to text. The modern page. That's annoying. I don't have a good way to kill that, huh? I guess I can Pithing Needle Lavamancer, that's true. I'm gonna attack first because I don't want them to block. I assume they're not gonna block, at least. Punishing Fire shouldn't stay banned in Modern from a power level perspective. Punishing Fire should stay banned in Modern because it creates miserable games of Magic the Gathering. It creates games where entire strategies have every relevant decision they could possibly make in a game be completely invalidated by one card. So I think for that reason, it shouldn't be legal. I'm gonna Flusterstorm this, I think. And I know they can pay for the Flusterstorm here, but if they pay for the Flusterstorm, it requires them to tap Ancient Tomb. Which means they're dead to my thing next turn. How do we feel about counterspelling this? And then, like, naming Sneak Attack here. I think I like that, right? I think I'm going to counterspell this and then name Sneak Attack with this Pithing Needle. Fair. Alright, so... this is all I got. Don't kill me. Alright, should be good. Do I want any of these other cards since they brought in all these tiny poopy creatures? Look out, right, Bob? Right? I feel like I don't want to bring in any of my removal spells. Although Bolt can, like, close the game faster. Am I supposed to fit some Bolts into my deck here? The Unsubstantiate isn't particularly good. So I could see trimming this. Bolt can also help me, like, flip TT faster. Yeah, Surgical's pretty unimpressive, too. How do we feel about this? I think I like this. I think this seems fine. I think I like this. Let's do it. No, I'd rather have Bolt than Abrade, I think. There's a small chance they have, like, defense grid, but with, like, Hope of the Gear appear, I'm assuming that's, like, in their defense grid slot, basically. And the Bolt doubling as reach and something I can play proactively to flip Thing in the Ice makes that extra valuable, I think. I'm going to keep this. We have a Force and we have a Vendilion Clique. Clique is one of our better threats in this matchup. I don't understand why there's an up 7 to 75. Is it for, like, Decay and for Preordain? It's for Merit Liege. It's a flexible card. It's a flexible card that can come in against, that helps against Merit Liege. Deal. We might get turn 2'd here. I don't think I'm supposed to force this, though. I don't think I'm supposed to force this. No, I was making sure my auto yields weren't on, because sometimes I automatically press F6 on their turn when I'm on the draw, but I have Force of Will, so I don't want to do that. I was just making sure I didn't do that. I assume they're setting up turn two Show and Tell here. I assume they're attacking me with this, sacrificing it, and then casting Show and Tell on turn 2. No, I don't take Pauper donation deck lists anymore. The format's just not popular enough. Do I end step Brainstorm because I have... How many extra cards do I see if I end step Brainstorm here? Nah, I think I'm just supposed to start go to my turn. Second Force makes me sad that I didn't force this. None of those are the lightning bolts that we're looking for. I guess I'm going to throw these two back and pass. Usually for formats that I don't normally play, I'll play them for a $100 donation. But by and large, most of the formats that I don't play consistently, I don't play them because they're not popular. They don't generate a lot of views or rewatches on YouTube. Yeah, I'd prefer to just bolt this though, I think. So I think I'm just gonna Brainstorm again here rather than... Or I can just K-Grip it. Yeah, I'm just going to K-Grip it. And now we might actually be in an okay spot here. I get to snap Brainstorm next turn looking for more pressure. Any merit to grip the pedal? Why would I grip the pedal? Instead of me justifying to you why I'm not going to do it, can you justify to me why I should do it? And the other question becomes here, do I want to... I mean, there's no guarantee they don't have a land. Because they have City of Traders, they could very realistically be holding a land in their hand. So there's no guarantee. The fact that they have City of Traders makes that less likely to be the case. Well, that's the Jace the Mind Sculptor chat, so we're going to play that one. That makes the what are we doing this turn decision very easily. Before anybody in chat says anything about potentially, like, not using Jace the Mind Sculptor this turn to Brainstorm or Fate Sealing, I need everyone in chat to be aware of something. Do you know how many times you have to not Brainstorm to win the game through Fate Sealing? It's a lot. So I'm gonna Brainstorm, especially with, like, double Force in my hand, just, like, looking for more blue cards. And they didn't have a show until last turn, so I assume they don't have it this turn, but maybe that's not the case. It's not... Chat, you don't know what the card does, chat. Chat, can we read the magic card together? Can we read the magic card together, chat? Pretty sure I'm supposed to force that. All right, I'm gonna let this happen now. I'm gonna keep my extra force because I have Snapcaster Brainstorm I get to set up next turn. So look at that. We left lightning bolts in our deck like a goddamn professional. Who's the professional that left lightning bolts in his deck? This guy right here. All right, so I'm gonna put this back. I'm gonna put Snapcaster back. Wow, that was quick. Disc Jockey Kale, thank you for the 3-month free subscription. I appreciate it. Welcome back. It's possible I'm just supposed to preordain there too. I kind of like holding this for the Force of Will though. I'm gonna let them attack first. So Spires go back to their hand now. Yeah, I guess they just assumed we weren't going to have Lightning Bolt in our deck post-board, but, like, they've played so many creatures that just, like, it feels, like, very safe having that in our hand. Do I want to throw this Vendilion Clique back at this point? I think I do, actually. I think I'd rather just, like, have all these cantrips. Can this be put towards blue-black mill? Of course it can, Puddle Jumper. Thank you for the bits. I appreciate it. I think we're going to try and flip this thing in the ice this turn. Gosh, Counterspell's a good draw. No, stop it. So we get to just 2-turn clock them here. I think we're actually in a position to win this, huh? So Bolt puts them to 14. This attacks for 7, and then we attack them for 7 again next turn. The thing in the ices are just absurd in this deck. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more there should just be like 4 true names in the main, and then just like probably 2 things, 2 pyromancers in the board, just like extra threats you can board in. I don't think I want these threats in the main deck because I don't want to turn on their removal spells game 1, but I do think having them in the board is very reasonable. Just like being able to close games like this is valuable. This card's also like super absurd to bring in against Storm too, because not only does it kill them quickly, but it also like answers Empty the Warrens. No, I don't think so. Basically, the logic behind that is, like, if Thing in the Ice or Young Pyromancer live, either of them are taking over the game very quickly on their own, so like it's fine if they're awkward together. Yeah, Thing in the Ice, Snapcaster Mage is good, solid interaction, I agree. Good, solid interaction. Nola Gold. This is Jody Keefe's username, I think. Wonder if he's back to traditional lands or if he's playing Turbo Depth still. Definitely in the market for True-Name. Do not need a 5th land. Looks like more traditional lands, perhaps. We have plenty of basics to fetch here, which is great. Can borrow this next turn, which is also nice. Details on how the donation queue works is here. If you have any questions about specifics, you can ask me in private. Drop me a DM. And we're gonna borrow this Mox Diamond for sure. Nope, the queue is still in a partial freeze. Big. Large donations and tier 3 subs can still add decks to it. And the freeze is detailed in that post that I linked. They have Punishing Fire here. Yeah. Thankfully we have Fish Genesis here, so we should end up being okay. This clicks pretty... Although, do I want to... How do we feel... I kind of want to just click them and click the Punishing Fire out of their hand. I don't really give a shit about the loam. Like, the Punishing Fires, I want to kill them. The Punishing Fire is what's going to kill my threats. None of these cards really do anything. I'm basically, like, looking for Bedlam Reveler and, like, my other true name at this point. Yeah, they have a Grove of the Burnwillows right here, and they're almost certainly going to pick their thing back up at my end of turn. I don't have enough data to look at how much exactly it's impacted my revenue. Like, we've only been frozen for... That's also part of why I want to... Oh, they dredged their loam. That's funny. I'm going to... The queue's probably going to stay frozen till the end of August, so... Also, like, yeah, that too. Like, I don't live off of this money. I'm very fortunate in that. All of the money that I earn while streaming goes into, like, paying for daycare and, like, buying extra things for the kids and, like, turning into extra money in my investments. 0 beds have been sold to date, Johnny. Yeah, that too. Like, part of the reason why the donation queue hasn't been reduced to basically 0 already is because there's still people paying the higher price that I'm asking to put decks into it. So, I'm not exactly, like, having 0 income from that. I mean, I was rejecting most Deathrite Shaman decks pretty aggressively, so I really didn't have any to cut. And the couple that I had in there that have Deathrite Shaman, people submitted new deck lists for them. I really didn't enjoy playing with the Deathrite Shaman deck, so I wasn't accepting them, because I play Magic for fun. But look, I view freezing the queue as a win-win situation. Either people don't want to pay more money and don't submit decks, or people are willing to pay more money and I get lots of extra money for donation decks. So, like, it's basically a win-win for me personally. Either no new decks get added, I get to plow through the queue very quickly, or people keep adding decks anyways and people are keeping the queue full at a much higher price. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with just, like, letting it be cheap to add decks to the queue for, like, 2 out of every 3 months, and then, like, every 3rd month freezing it. I really don't think there's anything wrong with that kind of a system. Jace is a fine draw. It's, like, not amazing, but it's okay. 5, 6. God, we're so close to actually just hardcasting this. I think I'm actually going to draw this because Force plus Punishing Fire and I can actually cast that card. Let's stand up for a little bit. Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I think that's probably going to end up being something close to that. Like, for every 2 months, you can put decks in the queue for $10, and then, you know, every 3rd month while I work it down, it'll be $50 or tier 3 subs to get decks in for that 3rd month. And again, like, I don't want to charge a ton. Like, there's a bunch of other streamers that put, like I think Davis charges, like, $50 to play a deck through a league. Like, I don't want it to be that price all of the time, because, one, it makes it harder to find sweet decks to play. And, like, my goal is to play lots of sweet decks on stream, so my goal is to play lots of sweet decks and not have to spend my own dollars on Magic Online to do it. I probably should have forced that gamble. Also, like, the other part of it is that, like, I feel like there's people out there, like, they're like, you need to raise the price. They, like, think I don't want the queue to have decks in it. The queue having some amount of decks in it is good for me because it encourages people to vote decks up with their dollary dues. So, I changed my mind that I don't want that Bedlam Reveler anymore, I think. I messed up. Let's Jace Storm here, see what we find. That's a lot of reach, huh? That's actually kind of an absurd amount of reach. So I'm keeping the Brainstorm with this Force of Will, so that way I can force a crop rotation here. Yeah, if we don't, I think we're going to be like, at their end of turn, I'm going to Bolt Snap Bolt. I can Bolt Snap Bolt and Punishing Fire them, right? Which is like 8 points of damage. And then they're almost dead, actually, right? Yeah, exactly, extras. Like, the cheap price allows me to do what I do. It makes me I only have to update and smooth out lists instead of like coming up with all of them exactly myself. They are almost dead here, right? I think they're actually dead, actually, right? So I'm going to do, this is 8, and then there's 4 points of damage sitting on top of my deck. Yeah, and there's plenty of people that, like, there's a number of people that rarely actually submit their own decks, but, like, just, like, looking at decks that exist in the queue and then donating for decks other people have contributed. Thanks for the Mox Diamond, I appreciate it. So they're going to 5 here, which means they're going to be dead to the Punishing Fire that's on top of our deck. And they can't, like, crop rotate for Glacial Chasm because I have Force of Will. Man, let me tell you about Bolt Snap Bolt. Let me tell you about Bolt Snap Bolt, chat. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It depends on what the deck is, Clockwork Cat. Like, if it looks like something that's got, like, a neat idea, I'll often do it myself. But if it's just something that looks like a hot mess that's completely unfocused, I'll usually send back the feedback, this looks like a hot mess and is completely unfocused, and I'm not interested in playing this. Alright, so this is a Pithing Needle and Surgical Extraction matchup. This is a Dead Gone, Thing in the Ice, Unsubstantiate matchup. All of these get to come in. Punishing Fire and Abrade are pretty bad here. Pyroblast is pretty bad. How do we feel about Flusterstorm in this matchup? Yeah, Grip could be worth bringing in case they're on choke. That's not a bad idea. I got $100 for that one, Shredder. My hot mess limit is lower when people send me more money. Revoker for Mox isn't terrible. It just dies to Punishing Fire, though. I really don't want a bunch of cards that die to Punishing Fire. Honestly, Counterspell's probably worse than Flusterstorm. The problem with K-Grip, chat, is I don't have a basic forest and they're a Wasteland deck. So I really don't want to board in this green spell. I think I'd rather rely on, like, Force of Will. Their deck is really good at finding loams. Like, clicking a loam out of their hand when they're playing effectively 8 loams is, like, really kind of medium. I think I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick. I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm going to leave the counterspells, and I think I agree that between Choke and Tireless Tracker, it's probably better to have that than Flusterstorm. I think this hand's pretty reasonable. I think the Pithing Needle's a big game. Just going to go Needle for stage here on 1. Well, there's probably an argument that I should be doing it off of Basic Island and not fetching a mountain here. Don't mind me, just another hardworking Muth and Hoglandia. Rock, the Pirate, thank you for the 4-month free subscription. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. No, we cannot, Anoronics. I'll try most things once. At a certain point, you're just getting dumpstered, though, and it's just not fun. That is a phenomenal draw. Can't force that one. Colin with the $2 donation. Whoop. Let me pull up my donation dashboard. Thank you for the support. But my democracy on Nile Landfall sounds good. All right, chat. I need a cantrip here. Right? I need a one-man, I need a cantrip or a bolt. Oh, I don't have a blue card either. That's unfortunate. I do this for a living, which you see right in front of you. So I have to shuffle here. I don't know if there's another Nile Landfall in the queue. I need to look. I believe we've died. Prodigy, thank you very much for the 3-month Twitch primary subscription. A quarter of a year. Welcome back. Oh, was the Ponder good enough? Yeah, it was. The Ponder was good enough. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I fucked up. I got banned because Hoagland does it too. See... people, and this is it's such an absurd society that we live in, that people think holding people to a standard where I make them explain themselves, they equate that with being rude. We're asking you to validate the things you say instead of just like saying it and taking it at the face value. They equate that with being mean to people. Okay, so what should have happened there is I should have taken the Ponder, and then I cast Ponder again, which puts my thing in the ice to 2 counters. And then the Ponder draws me True Name. And then when they make their token, I Lightning Bolt them and force my Lightning Bolt, flipping my thing in the ice to bounce their 2020. No, you don't force the Ponder, you force the Bolt. You can't force the Ponder because the Ponder needs to draw us the True Name to be a blue card to pitch to the force. So you have to force the Bolt. Josh VC with the Twitch Prime support. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I also have to be able to do it at end of turn. Yep. I didn't have the blue cards to force the Ponder, and I need to do it at end of turn. So I messed up. I didn't equate that I could Ponder into the True Name. I thought I needed to find a Brainstorm. Come on, Moto. Come on, Moto. Remember, you can always catch the replays on YouTube, Zaka. So everything always goes up on YouTube. Let's restart here. Hopefully Moto's not having a moment. Oh, there's just a random Magic Online client update. Sure. Sure, why not? How y'all doing out there? Welcome. While you wait for Moto to update, I'd just like to thank everyone for hanging out here today. My name is Jeff Hogan, a full-time streamer here on Twitch. If you're enjoying my stuff, please consider doing like several people have done this morning and subscribe to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. You can also support my stuff by supporting some of my wonderful sponsors. MTGOtraders.com. I love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you. And if you use code Hoagland PayPal at checkout with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. Cool stuff, Inc. Gosh, these new orders. I wasn't looking, and the new ad order threw me. Honey would love to save you some money. Honey is a free browser add-on that doesn't cost you anything to install if you use link bit.ly/Hoagland Hoogle Honey. You'll be supporting my content here while you do that. What Honey does is Honey looks at your shopping cart when you're buying stuff online, and it looks at the stuff you're buying anyways, and it checks online automatically for coupon codes. And if it can save you some money, it offers you a coupon code to save you some money. And if it can't save you money, it leaves you completely alone. Lisa would love to get you on your way to a better night's sleep. Christy and I have been sleeping with Lisa for the last 6 weeks now, and it's quite wonderful. It's our first time ever having a foam mattress. I don't think we'd ever go back to a traditional pillow top one. You can check out links bit.ly/HoogleBedUS and bit.ly/HoogleBedCA to save $160 or more on your new foam mattress. And of course, I'd like to welcome everyone out there to Hooglandia. Please talk to your friendly neighborhood moderator about your complimentary timeout. All right, we're back into Magic Online. We updated. Maybe Liliana the Veil works now. Yeah, Clockwork Cat. If you message me, Dex in private. Thanks for checking out Honey Krosan. I usually try to take a look at them at least once a day. This hand's probably not good enough, right? It just, like, doesn't have a threat. Oh, this hand's kind of medium, but I'm going to keep it. Definitely need another blue source. We could get Wasteland out of this game, which feels bad. It always feels bad to lose a game 3 where you had no control over it after you punted a game 2. Definitely should have been in a much better spot game 2 and I messed it up. Don't mind me, just can't tripping. It's a pretty easy shuffle there. Deal. Any thoughts on Kiki Cord from Barcelona? I mean, Kiki Cord suddenly having a result in a tournament doesn't make it any less terrible than it's been for forever. That seems pretty decent. I think I want all of these, right? I think I want all of these. And then do I want to play Thing in the Ice or do I want to play True-Name? That's a good point, Prodigy. Should probably sequence those in the other order. I think I'm keeping these for sure. Oh, I stacked those in the wrong order. I wanted to draw the True-Name this, or the Thing in the Ice this turn. How do we feel about surgicaling their wastelands? Nah, I don't think I'm going to do that. They obviously don't have their combo yet. I'm going to go ahead and cast this, since I'm pretty far off of casting the True-Name. I name Thespian Stage here. No, it will not get you discounts on Magic cards. However, if you're shopping at Cool Stuff Inc., you can use code Jeff5 to save 5% on your singles orders there. So, do I want to surgical... I think I want to surgical their loams here, right? Do I want to surgical wastelands or do I want to surgical their loams? I feel like I want to surgical their loams. Because, like, they really don't have anything going on, right? This is, like, a good, clean window to, like, take their stuff away. Because, like, The not having a blue land means the cantrips are worse, but I feel like this is okay for me. They have Maze of Ith. That's really unfortunate for me. Is my moto locked up? My processor sounds like it's going absurd, insane. Yep, moto seems like it's locked up. All right. It's a new feature, right? I mean, their arena servers went down recently too, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were having issues with like all their stuff in general. Yeah, my background is the Painter Servant full art. So they can grip this. They have 4 stages. They have Maze of Ith. The Maze of Ith is going to be really difficult to beat through. I'm going to take a picture of this really quick. Well, I mean, to be fair, the reason why they're doing that Pimped Up Monk is because they're having bugs with their software, so, like, I understand why they're doing it. Yeah, I need to find blue sources here to brainstorm, get my brainstorm going for sure. This deck actually plays a good number of lands in it. Like, our deck has like 22 lands, I think. We just like happen to have both our basic mountains this game, which is like absurdly awkward. I think we're on 22, yeah, 22 lands. Yep. I need to draw an island here, or blue source. I mean, we weren't dead if we drew an island, so... If we drew an island, we could... Actually, we're at 21. Which probably means we're dead anyways. Yeah. Island. Volk. Yeah, I don't know. The last couple times we've played Legacy, I've just like... I don't know if I'm going to keep taking donation decks for Legacy. Just really haven't been enjoying it. This hasn't been fun. I'm definitely feeling a little bit medium today too, but I was feeling pretty medium yesterday. And we played Modern, it was a good time. Also, like, the fact that it, like, cost me $12 of a spin to, like, flush these decks down the toilet feels really bad. Yeah. Yeah, the sweet decks in Legacy are much worse than the good decks in Legacy, and it cost me $12 a spin to try them, which makes it feel extra bad. Yeah. There's a lot of really high variance elements to Legacy, whether it's the combo decks or the Wastelands or the Hymn to Torox. Like, Modern is great. Really enjoy playing Modern. I like good standard formats. Good standard formats are great. We haven't had one of those for a while though, so I've almost forgotten what those look like. It is a different game when you can't 3-2 most leagues. You're not wrong. And like, 2-3ing a Legacy League cost me $12, whereas 2-3ing a Modern League cost me $4. So, like, it feels 3 times as bad. It's not even just about the money. It's just, like, the last couple of times that I've played Legacy, I just haven't been enjoying it as much as when we've been playing Modern. And there's so many sweet things to be doing in Modern. Like, there isn't a shortage of sweet things to be doing in Modern, right? Like, this is a pretty miserable card, too. Like, there's just so many cards. This is a miserable card. Like, there's so many cards in this format that just, like, generate really terrible games of Magic, in my opinion. Which, again, is a subjective opinion, and you are welcome to disagree with it. And if you enjoy Legacy how it is, you can and should enjoy Legacy. I am just being honest with my feelings right now. Which is the last couple of times we've played Legacy, I've really not found myself enjoying it. In fact, the last time I really enjoyed playing Legacy is when we played Spanish Inquisition, but that deck is not good. As much as I would love it to be great, that deck is not good. Let's see if they have another Force here or not. Well, they don't have Counterspell, so that's good. Scott Argan, thank you for the 4-month free subscription. I do appreciate it. Yeah, and like on top of like my personal feelings about Legacy, like it's definitely just less popular in terms of like how popular the content is too. Like Legacy is objectively less popular than Modern, which from a content perspective makes it less appealing as well. Like if I was really enjoying it and like I was like, oh, all these games of Magic are sweet and this is awesome, it would be different. But I don't feel that way when I'm playing most of the time. We do have Dack plus Punishing Fire online now, so that's kind of sweet. And our opponent has basically nothing. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Just gonna go ahead and deck through these. Well, we're good standard formats in my opinion. I really enjoyed standard when Sylvan Caryatid was legal. That card was like my jam that let me play a bunch of really crappy things. I enjoyed Theros Standard, Theros RTR. I enjoyed Innistrad RTR. A lot of standard formats that I think were quite excellent. So we get to put them between a rock and a hard place here. I get to go ahead and pick up this Punishing Fire, and then I get to Punishing Fire this, but they can't put the Batterskull into play, because if they put the Batterskull into play, I just take it with Dack. Yeah, sweet. I'm gonna play Preordain to start here, see what we find. I actually would really like another Grove of the Burnwillows, because it lets me bring back my Punishing Fire again. So now I get to go ahead and pick my Punishing Fire back up. Ditch this, ditch this. Look at all the cards we get to see, chat. There's so many cards. I'm gonna hide Snap Clique here, I think, just so they can't hit those with discard spells. Yeah, I really wish we had not only Dack, but Kaya Ghost Assassin is another card that I really wish we had access to in Modern. I'd really love to play Kaya Ghost Assassin in Modern. That card was gas. What do you think my opponent's plan is here? How do they actually win the game at this point? Can they? They can't, right? It's like 0%. They're just like waiting to see how I kill them. I guess I should start plussing my Jace, huh? Like drawn enough cards that we should just start plussing the Jace. Looking for like a Bedlam Reveler at this point. I think I'm just looking for Bedlam Reveler at this point. Or more Punishing Fire. More Punishing Fire makes Dack better. Force is actually probably pretty good here at this point. Like, I have so many cards, right? That, like, Force of Will is just, like, fine to have in my hand. I know their last card is Batterskull at this point. I'm going to snap Pyroblast here. Let me tell you about inbred formats in main deck Pyroblast, chat. Let me tell you a little story about main deck Pyroblast. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I choose you, Pikachu. Alright, they've had enough. Extra Pyroblast, obviously great. K-Grip's probably fine. Get to kill their stuff. Should probably just bring in Null Rod against any Stoneforge deck. I'm gonna cut these counterspells, maybe a couple of these forces. Daze would make tempo playable. I don't actually think Counterspell would be very good in Modern. I think the issues that control decks have in Modern, by and large, aren't solved by playing Counterspell. I don't think this is a Surgical Extraction matchup. I could see making conversation about playing these or possibly these, but I really feel like they're just like not better than the cards I currently have in my deck. Is Force too good for Modern? I don't know about that. I'd probably make Delver pretty good. Yeah, Punishing Fire is great in these matchups. Not only do they have access to Stoneforge Mystic, but they also have Planeswalkers in their deck almost certainly. And like Punishing Fire is really good at like keeping Planeswalkers in check. I mean, this 5 is pretty good. Punishing Fire is also a card that, like, alongside Grove of the Burnwillows, generates, like, nuts card advantage with Dack Fayden, so I definitely think any of these mid-range style matchups where you're grinding, you don't want to be cutting them. I do think Control is, or Stoneforge is the type of card that Control is looking for in Modern. I completely agree with that assessment. Like I said, I think a lot of the people that are like very pro Force of Will into Modern are pro Force of Will because of this idea that like every card that's ever been printed needs to be legal, and rather like people accurately say that Force of Will keeps the combo decks in Legacy in check. But what it does too from that perspective is that it makes those games high variance. While there are plenty of decks in Legacy that see some play that never beat a Force of Will, having the entire match be about, can I mulligan to my 4 of, isn't interesting. It isn't good gameplay in my opinion. It's just, you're basically sitting there rolling dice and gambling saying, hey, can I get my one card that matters in my opening hand? And that doesn't create good Magic in my opinion. I'd much rather a format have a managed ban list that keeps things like Belcher and like Spanish Inquisition, those decks that are going to kill you on the first turn of the game. I'd much rather just see those decks banned out of the format and just be like, okay, let's just not kill people before turn 3, rather than let's have entire matches that are all about, can I mulligan to my Force of Will and a blue card. Square V3 with that brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Welcome. I agree, and that's how it works, and people make arguments that Force of Will does something healthy for the format, and I don't think Force of Will does something healthy for Legacy. I think Force of Will does something that's necessary for Legacy, but I think what it does certainly doesn't constitute healthy TCG gameplay. I firmly agree that how Legacy is right now is Force of Will is necessary, but I think to say that it generates healthy and interesting games of Magic is largely untrue. How do you avoid tilt from happening during a losing streak? I change the deck that I'm playing, I change the format that I'm playing, I take a break from playing the deck that I'm playing altogether. All of those things are very good things. Are very good ways to avoid the frustration. Another good way to avoid frustration, this is definitely something I personally noticed, is that if you, at least for me personally, when I'm getting frustrated playing Magic, it's because I'm approaching Magic with the attitude of, this is really important to me and winning means a lot. Magic is a game that's much more enjoyable when you're playing for fun. And I know that that sounds weird to say, games are more fun when you're playing for fun, but I think, especially with the culture that's surrounding Magic, we're super dead here. It's very, very easy to get caught up in focusing on winning while playing Magic, rather than, and like completely lose sight of the fact that like, this is a game you're supposed to be playing because you enjoy it. I definitely want Thing in the Ice against their Lingering Souls deck. This also is a way we can send True-Name Nemesis back to their hand and allow us to counter it on the way back down. In fact, the fact that they have True-Name makes me want these counterspells and more Force of Wills, honestly. Sure, I agree. Winning is enjoyable, but I also think the flip side of that like making Magic be only about winning is a very easy and quick way to become frustrated with the games that you're playing. I enjoy winning too. I think most people that play games enjoy winning. But when winning is the only thing about Magic that you're deriving joy from, a game like Magic is a very frustrating thing to play because there's a lot of variance in a game like Magic. Well, I mean, we only have 2 copies of Thing in the Ice, and they're in our sideboard, so, like, it's not gonna appear in that many games. Man, I must have an ear infection or something. My ear keeps, like, popping while I'm talking. There are... Okay, so, Rusty, I did not say that every combo deck in Legacy loses to Force automatically. What I said was there are a number of combo decks in Legacy that auto lose to a Force and can't reassemble, and the only thing that matters in the game is that Force of Will. You are right. The good combo decks in Legacy, Storm, Sneak and Show, those decks, they don't auto lose to Force of Will. And they have a lot of back and forth and can play through it. However, those are not the only combo decks that exist in Legacy. There are plenty of combo decks that exist in this format that live and die by, did my opponent have Force of Will in their opening hand? And the games of Magic that those decks generate are not good games of Magic. They're high variance games of Magic for both sides of the table. And it's sweet. They're kind of fun to play on occasion. But again, like going back to the, are we playing Magic with the goal of winning? Like decks like that are super frustrating to play against when your goal is to like try and play a good game and like have back and forth and have interesting decisions that come up, in my opinion. I'm gonna shuffle those. I mean, you literally don't have data to show that they're fringe or not. I agree that they're not super popular. But again, like, I can also play a format like Modern where I just, like, those games don't happen. Like, I get it that you're not going to play against those decks every match or even every other match. But, like, when you do play it, I feel like I've wasted my time, right? I bought him True-Name because I wanted to land for this. Maybe that's wrong. That's kind of brutal. Hopefully they don't know... Did I forget to attack with this? No, I attacked them. We're good. Hey, Walkspit. Thanks for checking out, honey. I appreciate it. I'm going to bottom that and attack them for 3 here. And it's, again, different strokes for different folks. I'm just doing what I always do here, which is talking about how I feel about the game and just being honest with you all. How much money to switch to Modern? We're playing Legacy today. I have taken people's money to play Legacy decks, and I promised that we were going to play these Legacy decks, but I think once I work through the queue that I have now, unless something feels very different by the end of that queue, I'm gonna be moved off this format for a while. I am a person of my word. I basically made an agreement to do these things, and I'm going to do them. Curfew is super narrow. Missed on a fetch land. Yeah, I'm done. This deck is bad. I'm not going to play decks that are bad. It just doesn't have the tools. You could maybe build this in a bit better manner, but let's just take my $12 and throw it in a garbage can. I think if you wanted to explore this deck, I would definitely recommend putting 4 True-Names in the main. I would probably have 1 to 2 more threats in the board, like these things, like either 3 or 4 things, or like some things and some pyromancers. But yeah, I think the conclusion I came to last time we were playing this deck, which was it's just not very good and doesn't have the tools to keep up, I don't think that changes. Losing losing the other things in the format. I don't know. I think the deck has a lot more issues than just like the fact that there's a Dack Fayden in it.